And we're back with USA Mission 1, but Deathless. So for this one, we can't lose any units. I must use only my rangers to attack. I must move other units away from the battle. I can't destroy my own buildings to get more rangers. I can build rangers, but only after GLA enemy units have been destroyed before boarding the train. And missile defender reinforcements that auto-attack is okay, but I still must move them away from the battle ASAP. So with all of these rules, it means that I gotta get through this first section with only 6 rangers. So it is kind of a challenge because of the Stinger sights or basically any rocket-based enemy, because they're going to be able to outrange me. So with the Rangers right now, we're able to close in on those 2 rocket troops here, and we're just approaching the first Stinger sight. So with the Stinger sight, we're going to get our Vet 2 Ranger for this one, and we're just going to alt path back and forth, and then that way the Stinger sight is going to focus on that Ranger specifically. Now with that Ranger, because he's Vet 2, he's going to have self-healing. And then my other 5 rangers can now pick off that Stinger sight without taking any damage. Now, with the other Stinger sight, we don't have to destroy that one because we actually want to go around and, to where the Overlord and the Battlemaster is. But I do want to destroy it anyway, so then we can get some extra veterancy for the rangers. And with the veterancy on the Stinger sight, we're going to get Vet 3 just like that. Now, we're going to use our Vet 3 to do the same thing as the Vet 2 one earlier. We're just going to use that one to alt path back and forth. Since we're using the Vet 3 one to do it, it means it's less likely to get destroyed compared to the Vet 2 one. And just like before, easy work.
Army's elite. Search and destroy.
So we're just getting our Vet 3 and Vet 2 away from the Stinger sight, because I don't want those guys getting the killing shot and then taking the veterancy away from one of my other rangers. Now we're going to get all of our rangers to our next destination. See, had I continued on that path, I would have run into the Terries that would go inside the cars, so they'd be car bombs, and my rangers would get taken out by the Terries. And 2 buildings would also get garrisoned by some GLA infantry as well. Now, since we do have flashbangs, that is going to be easy work for my rangers, but it's the car bombs that are a real threat to us. So I got to find a different way to go about destroying them without losing any rangers. So what I've come up with is we're going to go all the way around, and we got 1 Stinger sight here. So I need to destroy the Stinger sight, but I also got to make sure not to trigger the Terries into jumping inside the civilian vehicles to get me later on. So what we're doing is we're getting our Vet 3 and Vet 2. They're going to be front and center. So because they're Vet 3 and Vet 2, they'll be able to take a bit more of a beating compared to my unvetted rangers. And we're going to make quick work out of that Stinger sight. And one of these rangers, hopefully, is going to get the vet up as well. I didn't move my other vetted up rangers away, which I should have. Beautiful. So we did get a vet up there. And since that Stinger sight's out of the way, I can now garrison this building, which would have been garrisoned by the GLA. So it's basically a race to get inside this building. We were able to destroy 1 car bomb, but we didn't destroy the other one. But the building is still going to have enough HP for us to destroy these GLA infantry before they can kick us out. I'm going to get 1 unvetted ranger to do a flashbang on the other garrison building, and then that way it's a Vet 1. I was hoping for a Vet 2, but no such luck there. But I'll take as many vets as I can get here, because we need to get all the rangers actually to Vet 3 in order to actually beat this mission. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to garrison the building that's closest to the train cars. Now, reason for that is because they're within range of the quad cannon, so that's easy work for them. Now, in terms of GLA vehicles, they're going to have 2 Scorpion tanks, 2 technicals, and 2 rocket buggies, plus a toxin tractor and a quad cannon inside the tunnel. So right now, first things first, I'm going to take out 1 train car, and I'm also going to get 1 of my Vet 3 Rangers. See, what I want to do is I want to lure the technicals out to where my garrison building is. But I don't want to stray too far out, otherwise the technical will either shoot down my ranger or run him over. Either one of those outcomes, not good for me. So we've lured out 1 technical, easy work there, and I'm going to get a different Vet 3 because the other one's going to be self-healing. So just a little bit of a time saver there. Now with Scorpion tanks, I don't have to worry too much about them. They don't stray too far compared to the technicals. They'll usually want to stay close to where the palace is. Now I'm just trying to get the right, basically the right spot with the Vet 3. I want to, like I said, I want to try and not stray too far from my garrison building. That way I can actually make it back inside without getting run over or shut down.
Point confirmed. Take a new position.
There we go.
Take the building.
And that train car that I kept intact, reason why I kept it was just so I could potentially slow down the technical as well. So at this point I decided to drop a save. See what we've just done, that's the easy part. Now we're going to get into the hard part. So like if I do a section of a level and it's like so easy that I can get through it consistently, then I don't mind dropping a save just for that time saver. Now what we're doing is we're taking 3 ranges. They're the 3 weakest ranges, by the way, and we're going after the Scud Launcher as well as the rocket buggies. See, what I want to do is I want to try and get towards the left side of the map, but I want to do it in a way where, well, one, we don't get taken out by the guys inside the palace, because there are rebels inside, but I also got to make sure that my rangers don't attack the palace, because if you attack the palace, you're going to trigger the reinforcements to come, and the reinforcements is going to be a Chinook drop into the building closest to the train tracks, as well as a infantry drop as well. But the infantry drop happens right next to where the tunnel network is, and so the infantry are going to get destroyed before they even land. So we were able to make it through to the left with the weakest rangers. Now I want to get the strongest rangers across as well. See, I could have gotten all 6 across at the same time, but by having so many clustered together, I was worried about the rebels picking off one that might have been a little bit too close to the palace, if that makes sense. So I'm just doing an alt path, and if one ranger strays too close to the palace, then I'll just move him to the left manually. See, there was a little bit of movement there, that's why I selected my units. But now that we've got all 6 rangers together, I can make my next move. See, the thing is, besides the palace, it's really the tunnel network that's going to be the problem here. And with that tunnel network, as I mentioned, there's a quad cannon and a toxin tractor. So it's like, how do you destroy a quad cannon, a toxin tractor, and a tunnel network without losing the rangers inside the building that we're going to garrison? See, it took a little bit of experimentation, but I did manage to figure it out. See, this next part, it's doable, but it's going to take a little bit of RNG. So the first part was precision, now it's RNG, so you can understand a little bit more why I decided to drop that save earlier on. So we took out the rocket buggies. I found if you go behind the tower, then garrison it that way, that's like the best way to go about destroying those rocket buggies without getting run over by them. Now, what I want to do is I want to garrison the building that's going to be responsible for dealing with the tunnel network, the quad cannon, and the toxin tractor. So it's going to be this building here, and I was just trying to get my rangers clustered together. It wasn't quite working out, so I decided to just go for it. So we've gone in, and here's where RNG comes into play. It really depends on how the vehicles behave after they pop out of the tunnel network. So I ended up getting very lucky here, because the toxin tractor is right next to my building, but he didn't fire, so I was able to get away with destroying the vehicles and also destroying the tunnel network as well. So the reason why I chose this building specifically to garrison is because of the fence. See, if the vehicles don't destroy the fence, it means that my rangers can destroy those vehicles and they can't really hit me. The quad can hit me, but the toxin tractor can't. So just like that, we were able to deal with the tunnel network, but we still got to deal with the 2 scorpions plus the infantry inside the palace as well. Now remember, I mentioned it earlier, if I attack the palace, that's still going to trigger the reinforcements to come. So I need to get rid of the scorpions first, then we can trigger the reinforcements to come, and then the reinforcements, I didn't mention it earlier, but it's got missile defenders, and I mentioned in Rule 6 that missile defenders that attack automatically is okay. So there's missile defenders that got off a few shots on the palace, and honestly it didn't really make any difference because I had rangers inside the building, so we'd be able to destroy the palace anyway, minus the damage that was done by the missile defenders. But right now we're taking out the 2 scorpion tanks. Now with the 2 scorpion tanks, they don't like to stray too far away from the palace, so what we're going to do is we're going to attack the scorpion with the 6 rangers, but we're going to run away as well. So we'll take a few shots, then we'll run, and then Scorpion will want to retreat back to where the palace is. Now, in the palace, there's one rocket trooper, so we could also use the rocket trooper's fire to damage the Scorpions further and just speed up that process. It really depends on how close the Scorpions get to my rangers here. But either way, we will be able to take out the Scorpions without much risk.
Take a new position. Enemy identified. Rally point confirmed. Take a new position. Heading out. Raid in progress. Search and destroy.
So now that the Scorpion tanks have been destroyed, we could go after the palace, which will trigger the reinforcements to come in, and that will be the Chinook drop on the flashing building, as well as an infantry paradrop, which will drop in near where the tunnel network was. And because all of those vehicles and the tunnel have been destroyed, it means it's not going to be an issue for those infantry. But before that, we're going to go for the black market. So we used our infantry to shoot that, and we're going to let the unvetted ranger finish the job. So then we got a vet 2 and 5 vet 3s. I'm not going to destroy the black market because I want to let the market rebuild, and then we can use our new rangers to keep destroying the black market, getting them all to vet 3, and then we'll have a bunch of vet 3s that will board the train all at once. So with my 6 rangers, I'm going to garrison a building that's going to be within range of the palace, so I'll be able to do some damage on that without the palace damaging my rangers. And with the Chinook drop that's going to happen on that flashing building, it's going to be another 4 rangers. So I have 10 rangers total doing the damage. Now my missile defenders from the infantry paradrop, they did get a few hits in, so this is why I included rule 6 at the beginning of the video. And like I said before, even if the missile defenders didn't get a few shots off, I still would have been able to do enough damage to the palace without my garrison buildings being destroyed. Now, I tried to destroy the infantry from that palace with my 4 rangers, but they just didn't have a good enough angle, so I couldn't destroy them, so I had to use my 6 vetted up rangers instead to move all the way over to where they are and take them out that way.
Special forces here. Raid in progress. Raid in progress. Exploiting target.
Now that the rebels and the rocket trooper have been destroyed, it means there's no more GLA enemy units to deal with. We're also going to get all of our missile defenders out of this garrison building, and we're just going to run them right back to base. We don't need them. Now, as for our rangers, we ended up getting a total of 9 rangers as reinforcements, and we started the mission off with 6 rangers, so we have 15 total. Now, here's the thing. With the train, in order to get the train to move to the GLA base, you need to fill it up completely with your units, and the max number of units you need is 16, and I have 15 rangers. So this is why I allowed myself to build rangers, but only after I destroy the GLA units, just to make it a little bit harder, and I also restricted myself from destroying my own buildings to also make it a little bit harder on myself. Now with these rangers, we're just going to continuously take the black market and the palace down to a GLA hole, get them all to vet 3, and then we'll board the train once everyone's vet 3. So I did jump ahead just so you don't have to see me grind out the veterancy on these rangers as well. It took me like 12 minutes to grind everyone to vet 3. Now everyone's going to board the train. I also did drop a save before boarding the train because I don't want to have to sit here and grind everyone to vet 3 again. I think you understand me dropping a save there. Now with the train, there's going to be, well, 4 rebels. One of them's actually going to get run over by the train, so 3 rebels plus a couple of rocket troops and a couple of stinger sites as well. So there's going to be a lot going on when we actually evac our units. So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to get 1 train car to evac, and I'm actually going to move back, not forward. See, by having all of the rangers all together, I found that I would lose more units, so I found if I just take things one step at a time and do it that way, I can actually keep all of my rangers intact. And another thing I forgot to mention, I did hotkey half my units to number 1 and number 2, just so I have better control over my rangers. So right now I got group 2 taking out the stinger site, group 1 is going to go inside the train car. If I just set them to move to where group 2 is, then they'd have to go around where the train is, and it'll just take a little bit longer. So there's a bit of a time saver here. So next big threat is going to be the technicals. So the technicals for this one, even if I get inside the radio station or if I capture some buildings, it seems like the technicals are more drawn to my infantry than the buildings. So for this one, I've tried to cluster my ranges together, so then when the technicals come, I can just fire all at once on the technicals and then just hope for the best. So I did get a couple of rangers down to half health, but all in all, we're able to survive. So we're going to go inside this radio station now, and that's going to trigger a couple of A-10s to fly in and take out 2 more stinger sites as well. So 2 less threats for me. Meanwhile, my rangers, they're going to take out the tunnel network because it's focused on taking out the radio station. So easy work there. Now there is going to be 2 more technicals off to the right. Also there's 1 technical, and they're going to focus on the radio station as well. So great news there. I can just take that out and then move on. So now that the tunnel network and the stinger sites are out of the way, I'm going to go for the barracks next. I don't need to capture or anything like that to use as a meat shield. And the other thing is these are all Vet 3 ranges, so we've got self-healing, so don't need that either. So to clear the mission, we've got to take out all the base defenses as well as all the GLA buildings. But I am going to capture the command center here because I am going to utilize that as a meat shield and then use my rangers to move in and attack the technicals as well as the tunnel network. Okay, so since we got the command center, the technicals and tunnel will focus on destroying that instead of my rangers, but there still is a risk that the technicals could shift targets from the command center to my rangers, so I'm going to garrison this bunker here. Now sometimes the technicals can be within range of the bunker, but no such luck here, so I have to go up close and personal to destroy the technicals and just hope that the technicals don't start firing on my rangers. So I ended up going back inside the bunker just to be safe. I noticed this technical here is just going to stay focused on my command center, so I'm going to wipe out that technical. I could just focus on the tunnel network and leave the technical alive, but I didn't want to take a risk of a death during the cutscene or anything like that. So this is how we destroyed the GLA base, and that is how we did USA Mission 1 Deathless using 16 rangers. So if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my other content. I'm Correctlo. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
You are victorious.